Hello everyone, that's a new video. Like and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
What would women dislike most if they became men?
I would hate having my junk on the outside of my body. Very vulnerable. I'm currently, temporarily, unemployed while I figure my life out, and my boyfriend generously and graciously supports me. Nobody thinks anything of it. If I were a man, everyone would think I'm a bum and that my partner should leave me. They always have to be strong. I always found it strange that my dad didn't cry when his mom/my grandma passed away around 20 years ago. He has dementia now, and he's always asking when we're going to visit her. I feel like those are his real emotions coming out. The silence. Guys don't usually get the same space to talk about feelings. You'd go to open up, and suddenly it's just awkward stares or a quick subject change. That would feel rough. Balding. Imagine suffering from a psychologically crippling event that society seems acceptable to mock. Dating. You'll hate dating, especially dating apps. It's interesting how many answers are balls. As a man, I'd much rather have balls than deal with periods. I've known women who wanted to have hysterectomies just to avoid having to deal with periods. I've never once heard a man say he wanted castration to avoid dealing with having balls, not even as a joke. No compliments and no one cares about you. That I suddenly won't find anything in the fridge even when it's right in front of me. Having women think they're potentially suspect for being cordial or friendly. The lack of sympathy or empathy from other people. The way society assumes men don't struggle mentally. If I became a man, I'd dislike how invisible depression, anxiety, or loneliness would feel. I think they'd hate the way people speak to them, more transactionally, superficially. Also, assuming they get an equivalent body appearance, but in male body, e.g., a 4 becomes a 4, a 2 becomes a 2, they'd probably dislike how most women don't welcome their presence/conversation. My brother is me only male and 4.5 years younger, so I have a good idea. Not being able to wear dresses or skirts when I feel like it without being ridiculed. Being expected to like football, soccer, women, and drinking. Mental health not being taken seriously. Having a penis sounds like a lot of hassle. Male pattern baldness. My brother is nearly bald. How they get treated. People don't treat men the way they treat women. Other men view you from the perspective of hierarchy, and women view you either as dating material or you could potentially be a person who essays people and no in between. Man's perspective. They dislike not being pampered all the time. I recently watched a YouTube clip of a 70-year-old female academic studying male/female love patterns, and she declared men are deaf the more romantic of the sexes, willing to make much grander gestures. As a gay man watching straight men and women, I can agree. Straight men, as a gay friend of mine once said, are the unsung heroes of the world. It has become normalized for men to take a lot of abuse from women, and for women to expect extraordinary special VIP treatment without returning the favor. The sudden lack of attention that comes your way without even trying. If someone is one of those who thrive off other people's attention, oh boy, you're in for a bad day. I would hate having to fight and display physical strength to find my place on the male totem pole. It always seems like such stupid thing to be judged on. I think at first they would be relieved to not having people randomly try to talk to them throughout the day. But eventually they would notice that people generally aren't as nice to men as they are to women when it comes to basic interactions between strangers from either sex. Probably other men forcing their insecurities onto me. Telling me, oh, that's gay, men don't do that, etc. when it's basic stuff like caring what your wife thinks, having empathy, or letting your daughter paint your nails for fun, etc. I think I'd dislike the loss of my mom privilege. When I take my daughter to a play center or playground, I can engage with the children, even pick up a stranger's kid, and nobody bats an eyelid. If a bloke did that. For me, if I was a man, I would hate how society looks at me, how I'm supposed to keep it together emotionally, kinda the suck it up you are a man kinda thing. I think personally it causes men to be emotionally cut off. I hope we change that someday for men. Shaving every day. Pop-up tents in my pants. Being expected to do all those jobs that most women don't do, like work in a sewage plant. I'm sure there are some, but the majority of people working with crap are men, sucking out porta potties, working in sewers, being garbage collectors, sanitation workers, and killing spiders. Yup, killing spiders is a big one for me. How much other men are probably comfortable saying to me, I'm white and work with the public. White people say all sorts of racist shit thinking I'll think it's funny or agree just 'cause I'm white too. It'd drive me insane if I was a man. Society will not help you. You are on your own. Zero safety net, no family or friends will help support you even for a day. Or the weeks-long stretches of time where you are not hanging out with anyone. Or you can't make meaningful friendships or even small talk with anyone but other men because women and minorities will automatically be afraid of you. Right off the bat, knowing my culture and making the presumption I'd be on the shorter side, my height. Long haul, the pressures from society to provide and be an emotionless rock that can't cry, ever. Being held accountable for their actions. The loneliness of being a man. Being held to a higher standard. I'm very short, and I hate it as a woman. If I was a very short man, that would be worse. But that's about it. And if you're a father, you're considered a babysitter more than a parent. And incompetent when it comes to household chores such as laundry, washing dishes, vacuuming, cleaning the bathroom, etc. The lack of compliments. I've always admired how freely and genuinely women compliment each other. Men rarely do this, and also rarely get complimented by women. So yeah, I think women would find the lack of that connection and validation to be eye-opening at least. There are a lot of answers circling around the same general idea. You would hate the loneliness. Whether that be from dating apps, the lack of compliments or a random touch, the fear of being accused of something, the expectation to face your battles alone or in silence. It's lonely. Hell, even guys in relationships feel it. And no, this is not from the Men Teach Men How to Be This Way, Feminist 101 class, so save that ridiculousness. The amount of hair everywhere creeps me out like I love it on my man, but the minute my armpit hair gets too long I start freaking out. I would hate having scratchy facial hair. I already hate my scratchy body hair. I'd go insane if that shit was on my face and grew back every single morning. Having my dick think for me would be problematic. I feel like testosterone would make me a menace. The idea of not using toilet paper after peeing makes me uneasy. I would be leaned over a sink constantly. Minor details. Pretty sure I would love everything else about it. I feel like men, on the other hand, once they got over playing with their own boobs and realized that vaginas are not as exciting from the other side, and I say this as a lesbian, would be quickly begging for their balls back. I have had wild dreams where I wake up with an extra appendage. Bizarre. I'd miss having intimate relationships that aren't just my partner. Like, I love my friendships, but I notice men don't have as emotionally vulnerable relationships with their friends. I'd be so happy to pee standing up, safely walk around at night, and have my ideas taken seriously at work. It would take me a while to get to the downsides. At that point, and assuming I take after the men in my family, probably back hair. First thing that pops into my head, pockets. Like, real ones. Imagine suddenly getting jeans where you can fit your whole phone and snacks? Instant pro life hacks. But on a more note, I feel like a lot of women would low-key hate how bottled up guys are expected to be emotionally. Like, no crying? No deep convos unless there's a crisis? That would drive a lot of us nuts real quick. Emotional isolation, expectations to just suck it up and get on with things, Default of being feared and treated as suspicious when in the company of women, especially if you've never met before. Probability of ridicule for being vulnerable. There's a lot that would probably be a big culture shock. The complete lack of special treatment from society. No special treatment from your parents or siblings. No special treatment in schools, universities, etc. No special treatment at work. No basic courtesies in common public. No one rushes to help you or hold the door, etc. That is probably the most jarring thing if a woman was transformed into a man. Once they try to get a date on a dating app, that will really seal the difference.
Thank you for watching. Bye bye.